It's fighting back, coming down to the finish. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this is one stunning picture.
1,000 words just in front. 1,000 words wins the Robert B. Lewis.
Honor EP is full out now, second on the outside, and they're coming down to the line, and 1,000 words has done it.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off the $1 Pick 6 on Belmont Stakes Saturday with race number 6. It's the Grade 1 Woody Stevens. These 3-year-olds are going 7/8 of a mile, and our coverage is presented by Spendthrift. The Spendthrift stands Into Mischief, who is the sire of the number 6, Provocateur. Let's take a look at the field for the Woody Stevens. They're going to be a big favorite in this race, and that is the unbeaten Jack Christopher, who dominated his debut at Saratoga and then ran a very fast race in his second lifetime start, a one-turn mile at Belmont in the Champagne. He would have been one of the favorites for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He got hurt. He missed the race. He missed time. He came back in the Pat Day Mile, and it was a race that was very kind to him from a race dynamic standpoint, but he fired again.
Yeah, I suppose, coming back in that race, going the mile off the layoff too, Dan, I think his connections just had to be really pleased with the race that he ran. He's the horse to beat in here.
And he might be the horse to catch. Timeform US believes that he'll be on the lead in a blue bar scenario. As we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, Jack Christopher favoring horses on or near the early lead. We know this horse has nice natural speed. He's had the same trip in his last two races, the Champagne, the Pat Day Mile, where you basically just have him sitting off of another horse. I think he can go either way, on the lead or sitting off. But Mike, I have a feeling, and we talked about it on the car rides back and forth to Belmont, you're looking to maybe fade him a little bit at a short price.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. If this is one of the races, right? I didn't feel like you necessarily just had to take the 1 to 2. He's obviously talented and the horse to beat. Is he, loose on the lead here, Dan, in this kind of blue bar scenario? I don't know about that. He has the rail. I guess that means they got to come out of there running. There are other horses in here, though, who I think want to be forward. The pace projector, and listen, I get that they're not sitting there plotting this by hand. They're building it off of the races these horses have already run. They have Morello last on the outside in this race. That horse is not going to be last on the outside. He's going to be up close.
It's hard to imagine that Morello and Witt, who is basically a one-run closer that doesn't get out of the gate very well. It's hard to imagine Chasing Time is going to be ahead of Morello in the early portion of this race. I think Papa Cop will be close. I think Provocateur will be close. Jack Christopher will be close as well. As for Papa Cop, I think this is what he wants to do, turn back a little bit more in distance. They turned him back in the Pat Day Mile. He made the lead against Jack Christopher. Jack Christopher ran by him without much fuss. Now they're going to cut him back to 7 furlongs, and he'll be tactical again.
Correct. Listen, he's obviously a rock solid horse. I don't see how you could watch the Pat Day Mile and decide that the cut back to 7 furlongs is going to help Papa Cap turn the tables on Jack Christopher. I just don't see how you could look at the race that way. This horse set what I thought was a pretty controlled pace in the Pat Mile. Jack Christopher tracked him until it was time, and then this horse was no match. He's run fine in basically all of his races. I don't see how you could like him that much in here.
Papa Cap was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. He's been pretty consistent. They tried to stretch him out, and now they're cutting him back 10 to 1 on the morning line. The number 3 is Witt. He was a very good 2-year-old. Now, when we think about good 2-year-olds of the past, they're usually blazers, horses that just go out of the gate. They're early, they're precocious. Witt kind of was the exact opposite. He couldn't figure out the gate. He wouldn't break very well, but then he would get himself into the race with a good middle move, and he would keep on going. He finished 3rd behind Jack Christopher after a very conservative ride, I thought, down on the inside in the Champagne. And then last time out in the Bayshore, his first start as a 3-year-old, he broke a lot better, and he looked good in the stretch. Let's watch the Bayshore for Witt because he still has work to do, and he is able to grind down this horse on the lead, highly respected.
Yeah, I thought he ran well in here. This was a nice return to the races for this horse off of the layoff. He kept closer to the pace. He was wide. He is going to just get up to win this race in the last jump here, Dan, get his nose down on the wire. Highly respected. Seems like a pretty talented horse, too, for Klarovich and Chad Brown. He did come back out of this race and run in an allowance race. He did the same thing, Dan. He opened a clear stretch lead. He got nailed at the wire, but I still think he's good. I liked Witt as a 2-year-old. I liked his return from the layoff last time. I do think he's a player in this race. I went in a different direction.
He needs pace to help him up. If that blue bar scenario turns out to be correct, he could be in trouble. Morello won his first 3 starts, including a sparkling performance in the Gotham. If there is perhaps a little bit to nitpick, it's that he's not the greatest gate horse in the world, as we saw when he was the beaten favorite in the Wood Memorial, because he completely missed the start. And after that, you just throw the race out. And Steve Asmussen was basically going to throw the race out. He was considering running this horse in the Derby. He came up with a little bit of a foot issue. I think it's the best thing that ever happened. I want to keep this horse going short.
Yeah, I agree with you. I never got the feeling that this horse was going to stretch out. I do think they probably did the right thing to at least try the wood with him. I think you have to be a little concerned about that performance. Yes, he hit the gate at the start, and so he wound up out of position. I don't know what his excuse would be thereafter, Dan. I mean, this horse didn't run a jump that day. It was really, really disappointing. I'm willing to give him, a pass for that. I like the idea of them giving him a little time to regroup, coming back, going shorter in this race. He's got really, really good tactical speed. I think he's going to be sitting up close on the outside. He's already got a fast race that sort of puts him, close to Jack Christopher in this race. And he's 9-2 on the line, which I just think is a great price.
Number 5 is Chasing Time, stablemate of Morello. They're both trained by the great Steve Asmussen, and Asmussen is looking forward to turning this horse back. And I think maybe he just turned it back a little bit too far last time out in the Grade 3 Chick Lang, because this horse was out-sprinted in the early part of this race. We're going to turn into the stretch of the Chick Lang. And remember, it just seemed that Speed was doing very, very well at Pimlico on dirt and on turf this entire weekend. Chasing Time, I think, deserves a little credit for getting up for third. He's going to get blinkers for the first time, and I think 7 is a lot better for him than 6. Just needs some pace.
I agree. I thought he ran really well in here. He just got him, as you already mentioned, Dan, he just got himself outpaced early in here, and he was left with too much to do in the stretch. But all in all, I thought this was a good performance. I do think that was the key to this horse anyway, just cutting him back. It was pretty clear in his 2 graded stakes tries around 2 turns that he didn't really want to stretch out. I like him going shorter. I think he's underrated. He's a great price on the line. I'll try to get him in there somewhere.
Todd Pletcher trains the number 6 Provocateur by Spendthrift Stallion into Mischief. And one of the great assets of Provocateur is his tactical speed. He can get very close to the pace in his races, and he can get himself in position to win. Now, last time out in the Gold Fever, he was the beaten favorite. We're going to watch that race right now, but he was beaten by a very swift New York bred in Senbai, and Provocateur isn't in the most comfortable position down towards the rail. He's eventually going to get through. He'll fight with the New York bred. He gets beat a neck. I still think there's some upside potential here.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. This horse ran fine in here. I guess he did break to the lead. The winner was ultimately just faster than him, so he sat behind. If you're going to give him the excuse, and I guess you could give him the excuse that, he just didn't really want to come through on the rail, and that's why he didn't win. I guess sometimes I could buy that. I'm just not giving him that excuse, Dan, because I don't like any of his other races enough to give him that excuse.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for access to all of DRF TV's latest video offerings. Top pick time for the Woody Stevens. I'm going to chalk out with Jack Christopher. I just think he has a wonderful tactical speed. I think he's pretty good, and I'm curious to see what we get from him down the road. If he runs very well here, does Chad stretch him out? Morello, I've been impressed with him as well. I think he had more of an excuse in the wood maybe than you did. If he's over his foot problems, he may make Jack Christopher run a lot.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he can do that. I do think this horse has a chance to be really good, Dan. And listen, maybe it'll just turn out that Jack Christopher's too good for him, but I'm going to make him prove it on the racetrack, especially at the disparity in odds.
And that's right. You're going to get the price. 4153 for Mike, 1253 for me. It's the Grade 1 Woody Stevens kicking off the $1 pick 6 at Belmont Park on Saturday. Good luck.
Master horse racing with Daily Racing Form's Formulator, now free for DRF Bets members. Sign up to get the best bonus in racing with a $250 deposit match, plus a $10 free bet and free Formulator past performances. Go to drf.com/bet to play like a pro today.